What's up, guys, and welcome to USANZ round number 4 here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Hope everyone's having a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you happen to be in the world at this present moment in time. And it should be a fairly interesting race here as we start looking at some of our competitors on the track. We can currently see Chuck Mobley and Jason McQuinn on screen, the 78 and the 23 respectively. These guys mired down in the field a little bit in 17th and 19th. Currently got 24 cars that have laid down a lap. As you'll probably see these two battling it out fairly often within this race. We've got a custom setup in this race as well. But these guys, the admins, worked on the setup throughout the week and kept tweaking on it, and this is where we're at now with the setup. As we see Blake Matty's there getting into the wall behind these two. The current top time is from the 98 of Thomas Light with a 50.160, which is pretty damn quick. I mean, track tap at the moment is 32 degrees Celsius, so it's not really hot, but it's not exactly cold either. It's a nice warm. See who else we got out here on track. I can see we've got the 25 on track. That's Brian Chambliss. He's currently third with a 50.272. And keeping it close quarters. Just behind him is the 68 of Thomas Harmon. That one. Thomas not doing too well today, currently down in 15th with a 50.752, so he's over half a second off the pace, which is never any good. Behind Thomas is going to be the 333 car of Thomas Vinning. He's now currently 17th. He displaced Chuck Mobley. Behind these guys we have also the 61 of Travis Massia. And right behind him the 48 of Ryan Chow. Every time I see Ryan's last name, I think of like just some Serpadoom saying, yeah, Charl, dude. Netflix and Charl. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I can also see we've got the 22 on track. That's Timothy Swiggett. He's made his way behind Mobley and McQuinn. It's still fairly early in the morning here for me because I was up late last night and I haven't quite defrosted yet, so you'll probably hear a lot of sounds that you don't want to hear. You probably think I'm sick or something. I am sick, just sick in the head, but that's, something completely different. As we're now focused on the 20 of Adam Walker, is right up behind Thomas Harmon. Adam currently the 7th fastest car in practice. There's J.R. Hager as well in the 88 car. He's just behind Thomas Light, just in front of Timothy Swiggett. And there goes Timothy Swiggett. Very nice move there in turn 3. And we are about 12 and a half minutes away from the end of practice here. If only there was a way to encourage more people to get onto the track. As it's about 11 laps left until the end of practice. Now this is a little cluster. J.R. Hager, Jason McQuinn, Chuck Mobley, Thomas Harmon, Adam Walker. JR's not actually in this, it's just McQuinn, Mobley, Walker and Harmon. Look at the bump drafting there. From Harmon to Hager. Just pushed him out in front. And by a fair distance as well. Very nicely done. Thomas Harmon's still being 15th quick here in practice. I don't know what it is, he just does not seem to have much pace here. These guys have about 10 laps left before the end of practice here. As you saw there, the 20 of Adam Walker trying to get hooked up with J.R. Hager. And he does. And they've just steamrolled Thomas Harmon. Thomas actually had one hell of a run coming out of turn 2. Couldn't go anywhere with it. Now Thomas getting on the tail of Walker. And now he's going to attempt to pass him going into turn 1. Oh, the outside line holding on a bit better than I thought it would. But Thomas Harmon does get that move made. That's 7 minutes before the end of practice now. 7.5 minutes, sorry. It looks like the wind is coming from the west. Not very strong at the moment. It was up to 8 k's an hour before. Now it's down a little bit. And now it's coming from the south. So before it was pushing these guys through the short chute between 1 and 2 down the back straight. Now it's gone back to the west. So short chute's where the speed will be at the moment. See the 4 Jaron Sanchez coming out of the pits as well. We also have the 25 of Brian Chambliss on track just in front of these guys. We even have the queen of the scene, Miss Rachel Hunt herself, on track. One of the Iron Maidens of our little motorsport here. As now we have about 4 minutes left of practice. These guys will be pushing it for everything that it's worth. Now everyone is pushing as hard as they possibly can. Obviously everyone will be trying to get ready for qualifying. Although qualifying runs with a car in front of you will not give you a true representation of what you can do in quali. The one car ducking off the inside there, that's the 23 car. And he has now gone off to the pits. We see Jaron Sanchez on screen with Brian Chambliss. These boys have Rachel Hunt right behind them. It looks like Brogan Pickett Norris there going for a pit entry practice. Possibly. No, that wasn't him. That was the 22 of Timothy Swiggett. My apologies. As we're now just about to enter into the final minute of practice. Oh, McQuinn, that's not the way you meant to exit out of turn 2. Maybe that was by design, no, because we are now currently out of time for practice. Thomas Light wins the practice, J.R. Hager in second, and Brian Chambliss third, with Rachel Hunt fourth, and Ryan Daly timing in at the 5th quickest in practice. And that's everyone getting off the track now. It's time for qualifying. Single car qualifying, 2 laps to get it done. We're going to watch about the first 5 minutes of it here, and now we're going to go for a commercial break. So we had the 5 and the 38, so Brian Britt, Alexander Russell, Russell Arnold, Thomas Light, all making their way to the track. So is the 99 of Ryan Daly, Lewis Woodall. We've got 6 cars on track at the moment, 7 with the introduction of Christopher Davies. I have Rachel Hunt making her way out, and the 25 Brian Chambliss, the 333 also making his way out. That's James Vinning. But we're going to go have a look at Brian Britt. It was the first car on track. Let's see what he can do for a time. And he crosses the line with a 51.330, but he already got outclassed by the 38 of Alexander Russell. And Russell's got it wrong on the second lap, so we're going to stay on board with the 5 car here, Brian Britt. Russell, Arnold, Thomas Light also faster than Brian at this stage. Let's see what he can do. And it's a 51.112, so he's still the last of the qualifiers at the moment. Rachel Hunt's gone to the top with a 50.463. Ryan Daly now to the top with a 50.399. Only 8 people have put down lap times, 9 now. See what Ryan can do here on his second lap. Ryan Chandler moves himself up into second with a 50.456. Ryan Daly did not improve on his second. Come on, iRacing, change car now. There you go. Looking at the 13 of Lewis Woodall now, currently P8. Moved himself up to 7th. Nicely done. 48 of Ryan Charles down in 13th. Chandler's coming to finish his second lap. Chandler's did improve, but not by much, a 50.417. Alright guys, we're going to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to see the results of qualifying and get to know how our grid's going to look. So make sure you stay tuned. And that totally did not go the way that I thought it was going to go. Alright, we are back, and it is time to have a look at how our grid is going to shape up. So let's bring up the results here. Maybe, possibly. That one. I pressed the wrong button. Alright, so we're going to have Ryan Daly on the pole with a 50.4. Brian Chambliss in P2. Rachel Hunt will be starting out of third with J.R. Hager in P4. Got Blake Madtes, or Maddies, in P5. Alexander Russell in P6. Gareth Anderson in 7th with Russell Arnold in 8th. Lewis Woodall in 9th and Thomas Light in P10. And it's Christopher Davies 11th. Jason McQuinn 12th. Brian Britt 13th. Adam Walker 14th. James Binning 15th and Ryan Chell P16, the last of the qualifiers. Thomas Harmon will be starting 17th. Jaron Sanchez 18th. Matt Burgess 19th. Travis Massier 20th. Chuck Mobley will be 21st. Timothy Swiggett 22nd. Aaron Grosskopf scored as 23rd. Brogan Pickett Norris will be 24th. Gregory Harris 25th. And Bradley Moxley, last but not least, in 26th position. You can see the cars just sitting there on the grid, anticipating the start of this race. Strength of field out of the 26 cars is a 1985. And it looks like Gareth Anderson starting from the pits. Alright, so here we go, guys. I hope you're ready for 90 laps here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Should be an awesome day of racing. Alright, here we go. They're coming around turn 4. The pace car will head to the infield. And the leader has control of the race. And we're off and racing for USANZ round number 4. Here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Ryan Daly with a huge jump over Brian Chambliss. Rachel Hunt slotting herself into third with J.R. Hager sitting in P4. And it looks like we already have one car around, and that is the 27 of Blake Matties. Around at the back of the field comes Gareth Anderson out of the pits. We go back up to our leaders now. Looks like things for the most part have single filed out already. A lot of people are a little bit unsure with the looseness of the setup. See Thomas Harmon there in the background, already trying to make up some positions into 14th. And it looks like the 27 of Matties is in the pits. Get the standings back up there, so you guys can see what's going on with the top 21. Like Rachel got a little bit unsettled there coming out of turn 2. Hager looking like he wants to try and make a move in that 88 car. And he does get it going into turn 3. Nice move there for Hager. I think Rachel might be trying to look after her tyres a little bit here already. As you see the leader Ryan Daly darting down to the low side of the track as to try and break the draft, so the second place Brian Chambliss doesn't gain too much of an advantage on him on the straightaways. Let's see if we've got any battles in the middle of the pack. Now set to focus on crashes. We're still looking at the leader though. Right, little back this pack this leading group is. Now we're looking back at Jaron Sanchez in the 4 car, and it's jumping all over the place. iRacing can't focus. It's a kid with ADHD. I think we're going to go back and have a look at the 68 car of Thomas Harmon, as he's looking at trying to make a move on the 20 of Adam Walker into turn 3. And that's a very nicely made move there. Adam Walker, I think, got out of the gas a little bit there just to facilitate the overtake. Just behind them, Ryan Charles has been making up some position as well, I think. Actually, no, maybe not. He's been losing some. We see Jaron Sanchez just in front of him. Matt Burgess trying to make his way around Ryan. Ryan fighting back on the outside line though. See what that number 12 Halverline car can do here on the back straight. Thomas Harmon going for another move as well. And that is Matt Burgess up a position, and I think Ryan Charles trying to cover off the inside line might have gotten into Jaron Sanchez there just a little bit. Travis Maciel also gets around Ryan now. Thomas Harmon has made his way to the front of that little group, and now he's going to make the charge off to the next group. To go back up to our leaders, and we've had a change for the lead. Brian Chambliss is now leading the race. And the 99 of Ryan Daly has just slotted himself into third in front of Rachel Hunt. So it's all kicking off here now. Rachel trying to fight back on the inside of Ryan though. And she gets him on the exit of turn one. Ooh, very close quarters to the wall though there for Rachel Hunt. See, everyone's starting to do the swervy thing now. That's what I like to call it, the swervy thing. It looks like Rachel's starting to pull away from Ryan Daly here just ever so slightly. Chambliss does the swervy thing all on his lonesome. No one choosing to do it with him. Moment, Chambliss cool, calm and collected there in the lead. Now Gareth Anderson, less than half a lap away from being lapped. Just going through turn one as our leaders are coming through turn four. One thing that I've noticed on iRacing that Indianapolis is good at, and that's being conducive to long green flag runs. As long as there's a bit of give and take, you can get a nice long green flag run here in iRacing. That's mostly as long as Matty's does not qualify too well. That way he can't spin in front of the field. As we now have a look at Brogan Pickett Norris sitting there in the 20th position. Just in front of him, James Vinning in the 333 car. Oh, Ryan Charles. He got into the wall there coming out of turn 4. And everyone is going around him. Brogan Pickett Norris on his towel at the moment. Pulls to the inside, going to 3. And it looks like he's going to make that move. Couldn't quite get it completely completed though. But he does going into turn 4. We're going to go back to focusing on crashes now that everything seems to have calmed down a bit there. We're on Vinning. We got around Biggett before. Now we're on Russell Arnold. Oh, as the 98 of Thomas Light getting into the wall coming out of turn 2. He's going to lose a whole bunch of position here. Thomas v. Thomas going into turn 3. And Harmon is stronger than Light. But Light fights back on the outside. But Harmon will succeed in that little endeavor. Just in front of them, it's Russell Arnold versus Alexander Russell. My apologies for that sneeze. Thomas Harmon looking at getting his nose into this battle as well. Just about go 3 wide on the back straight. That was some close quarters combat right there. As a lot is kicking off here in the mid-packs. Thomas Harmon has made his way up to P7 at the minute. So he is pushing through this field as quickly as he can. We saw Jaron Sanchez there in the background ducking out to make a move. We see Thomas Harmon ducking out to get a move made on Alexander Russell. That Burgess also trying to make a move on Thomas Light. Not going to do it in turn 3. Or turn 4. Jaron Sanchez was able to make his move on Lewis Woodall. Sanchez into 10th. Woodall down to 11th. Looks like Gareth Anderson is in the pits. sure what's going on with Gareth. We're 18 laps in this race already. The laps just fly by when you don't have a caution. It looks like Thomas Light making that outside line move a little bit. Almost attempting to move on Alexander Russell there. It looks like iRacing just wants us to continue to have a look at this little battle here. I do have it set to focus on crashes. At least I think I do. So we're still just sitting in this little pack. And Thomas Light now going for an inside move on Alexander Russell and gets it made. Now we go back in the pack a little bit here. We focus on Lewis Woodall, who's in a little bit of a battle here with Travis Massier, Jason McQuinn, Brian Britt and Christopher Davies. Oh, sorry, Davis. Oh, I keep calling him Davies. I'm just weird, I guess. But Matt Burgess has finally gotten around Thomas Light. Alexander Russell dropped back to 10th now as Jaron Sanchez moved up into 9th. And Brian Chambliss has opened up a lead over J.R. Hager at the moment. It's 1.5 seconds at the minute. Comes the forward, Jaron Sanchez now looking very strong on the tail of Thomas Light. It looks like we've got someone making a pit stop. I think that is the 5 of Brian Britt. As now we're looking at our 6th place Russell Arnold, who got overtook by the 68 of Thomas Harmon. Thomas is powered away from this second group. Also see the 13 car in the pits. That's a Woodall that's in there. Getting his fuel and tyres. Thomas Harmon has now made his way into fourth in front of Ryan Daly. Comes Russell Arnold trying to take away fifth. This guy's going to battle it out side by side. And Russell Arnold with the advantage. Not far behind them also is Matt Burgess. He actually has their draft and is catching up. Like also in the background there, Thomas Light trying to bump draft Darren Sanchez down the back straight. Oh, we've got a spin. The 38 of Alexander Russell. Caution is out on the track. Let's see what happened there to the 38. He's in a battle coming into turn 3. 61 of Travis Massier there. And the 23 of Jason McQuinn. Looks like Jason was unable to hold the bottom line there. Washed up into Russell. Put Russell onto the outside wall on the exit of 3. And he tries to get it woed up so he doesn't run into McQuinn again. This is where we caught the action. He was sideways on the bottom of the track there. Very lucky not to get hit by the cars behind. Alright, so that was a heart-stopping moment there. So we are going to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to see how everything unfolds after the pit stop cycles. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, we are back 1/3 of the way through this race. And by the looks of things, most of the pit stops have already been complete. The 5 of Brian Britt was the lucky dog. And he's been waved around. You can see him coming across the bottom of the screen there now. And our leader will still be the 25 car of Brian Chambliss. Coming out of the pits in second is Rachel Hunt. J.R. Hager will be third, and Thomas Harmon will be restarting from P4. You see there, Lewis Woodall in the 13 car, sitting right up the back of the pace ute. He wants to get by because he's got fresh tyres already. iRacing has implemented the short cautions around here at Indianapolis. So we'll see the lights go out on the pace truck, and the 13 will go around the field right there. And let's get them formed up in the 2x2 formation. So it's going to be Chambliss, Hunt, Hager, Harmon, Arnold, Sanchez, Daly, Massier, Burgess, and Davis as your top 10. And the pace car is in. We're off and racing again.
Go. Green flag.
Ryan Chambliss obviously with a good jump being the lead car. But we do have a battle on for second with J.R. Hager and Rachel Hunt. Oh, looks like Rachel might have bounced off the wall there. That drops her back to third. And just behind Rachel is the 38 of Thomas Harmon and the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Oh, close quarters on the back straight. J.R. Hager in the grass. And he is not going to hold on to position there. He drops back a fair bit in the 88 car. He went from second to P6 there, taking the dirt track. What that does is that moves Thomas Harmon up into third and Jaron Sanchez up into P4. Could we see another Output Racing lockout of the top 3 here? Only time will tell. But Rachel, not laying on her laurels, sitting right there behind the 25 of Brian Chambliss, pressuring him as they're going along the straight. Chambliss going very defensive. Rachel now pulling to the outside of Chambliss in turn 1. She keeps up enough momentum to still be there in the short shoot between 1 and 2. But it's all gone in turn 1. But it's all gone in turn 2. I had it right the first time. The short shoot between 1 and 2. I'm an idiot. Chambliss still in control of the field at the moment. J.R. Hager making his way back towards the front, worked his way into 5th. Chambliss not exactly having an easy time in the lead of this race at the minute. As we bring up the battle bot. But the 48 of Ryan Charles also had a restart lap drama. He's already half a lap behind the field. Well, Chambliss not diving all the way down to the bottom of the track there. Faking out the 16 of Rachel Hunt a little bit. Looks like the 38 of Alexander Russell staying in the pits as well. So we've got 3 cars sitting there in the pits at the moment. Well, technically 2. But we've got Blake Madtez. Maddie's, who is OUT out of the race. Gareth Anderson is sitting in the pits, and the 38 of Alexander Russell also sitting in the pits. What we're going to do is a special little treat right now. We're going to open up the radio waves and see what these drivers are talking about. And I make no excuses for their language. They are driving in the heat of the moment, so if they swear, well, tough shit. And that's my one for the broadcast.
You got it in the one, Matt. Thank you. Yep, no problem.
Let's go and focus on crashes now. As we see the leaders still doing the swerve thing. Currently focused on Thomas Harmon, who has already been experimenting with the demonic portals, trying to gain an advantage. And it's working. He's inside of Rachel Hunt. And that sentence sounds really bad when said out loud. Slots back into third behind her. Sanchez also looming right there behind Thomas Harmon.
Thanks.
The wind is 7 kilometers an hour from the south, so it's pushing these drivers along the back straight. And Chambliss has gone out to a 1 second lead over Rachel Hunt right now.
Don't like 22. I'm not even going to try to pass you.
Here comes Thomas Harmon now to the inside line. And he just about gets the move made, not quite cleared. And here comes J.R. Hager now as well to the inside of Jaron Sanchez. Thomas Harmon has moved up into second. Hager trying to take away third from Rachel. Not going to quite be able to get it done. But now he does, going into turn 3. Rachel Hunt has just been demoted down to 4th behind J.R. Hager. Here comes Sanchez to the inside of Rachel Hunt now into turn 1, and it looked like she just gave him that one. was a very easy move for Sanchez to make, which is going to put Sanchez into 4th, Rachel down to 5th. And it looks like now things are going to calm down here a little bit. Thomas Harmon. Okay. That was the 24 of Gregory Harris complaining about something. He took the first thing he said completely out of context. But here is the battle going on for 3rd right now. This is between Hager and Sanchez. Sanchez is actually looking pretty strong, as iRacing decided wanted to look at Thomas Light. Travis Massey just in front of him, trying to catch up to Christopher Davis in the 21 car. And Sanchez has gotten around Hager now as well. So we have an Output Racing top 3.
Sorry, I had to pass you down to the right behind me.
Question is now, can they keep it? As we're back at looking at Thomas Light, who's in the space all on his own, so I don't know why iRacing thinks this is the next crash. There's James Vinning in the 333, currently in 15th. He's got McQuinn and Swiggett just in front of him, but they're about to start battling it out for the 13th position. Back to Thomas Light now, still sitting in 10th.
Great, what you can do again.
We're back to looking at Vinning. And McQuinn did get around Swiggett. Looks like Vinning is actually starting to catch up to Swiggett here, so he could be on for a move for 14th in the very near future. Alright, we're going to go for a quick commercial break here before they start their green flag stops. So hopefully before we come back, well, after, we won't get any green flag stops before we come back. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty guys, we are back and we have just crossed over into halfway territory in this race. Currently leading is Brian Chambliss still with a 1.2 second gap over Thomas Harmon in second. Jaron Sanchez still sitting in third. And we're starting to catch up to some lap traffic, namely being the 48 of Ryan Charles in 20th position. Green flag stops will probably be looming here just around the corner very shortly. And we did see some people taking green flag stops as early as, lap 20. And it has now been 20 laps since we last pitted. Brian Britt has already come in. He came in on lap 44. Everyone will be probably thinking about trying to take fuel and tyres to the end of the race here soon.
Sorry, bro. I got tight. Tight as hell.
All good. No damage.
We're going to turn off the radio scanner now. We focus in on the 25, closing in on the 48 car to put him a lap down. It looks like he's trying to pick up the draft off of Ryan Charles there. Pulls to the inside to get the move made and does it quite nicely. We're going to go back to just focusing on whoever, wherever. Looking at J.R. Hager at the moment. Now back to James Vinning. James still sitting in 15th. J.R. Hager still sitting in 4th. He's got just about a second in front of him to the 4 car of Jaron Sanchez. He's got Matt Burgess on his tail as well. But very shortly we could actually have the top 4 being all output racing cars. As Jaron Sanchez finally gets around the lap down car of Ryan Charles, who is missing his back bumper. Must have gotten into the wall a couple of times, and we also have a pit stop underway. That is the 13 car. And he's going to be looking at going a lap down here. I think there was another person already in the pits as well. Hard to tell on the little mini map that I got. Hager is looking like he's having some troubles getting around Charles. Finally gets it done, and here comes Matt Burgess as well. There is a car in the pits that's smoking a lot, so we might just have a quick little look at who that is. And it's the 00 of Gareth Anderson just sitting there smoking in the pits. He's been in the pits since a very early lap 13. So possibly that might just be his car is overheated while it's just sitting there in the pits. As now it looks like Ryan Charles in the 48 has made his way to the pit lane. We're looking at the 88 of JR Hager still, who has caught up to the back of Jaron Sanchez. I think Jaron has made a mistake in the last lap or two. Lost half a second to Hager in the last lap. Matt Burgess likewise has dropped off from the back of Hager ever so slightly. And here comes Hager now to the inside of Sanchez. And he gets that move made very easily into turn 4. Matt Burgess looking at trying to go with him. In fact, he wants to try and make the move on Hager as well, to return the top 3 to being all output racing cars. Right behind them is Brian Britt, actually. A lap down car, Brian Britt. So the Matt Burgess makes it into 3rd. Hager stays in 4th. Jaron Sanchez dropped down to 5th. Brian Britt just looking for his lap back. As the 48 of Ryan Charles went in and got his pit service done. And popped back out in front of our leader. And the gap has also closed ever so slightly between Chambliss and Harmon. But this is the battle we're focused on at the moment. Comes Brian Britt now to the inside of JR Hager. Remember, Brian Britt is a lap down. Squeezed Hager up into the wall there a little bit on the entry to 3. That made both of them run a little bit wide. Now Brian Britt to the inside of Matt Burgess there. And the battle is back on between Sanchez and Hager. Sanchez taking a little bit of a wider arc into the corner. Giving him a slightly lower exit. It looks like it might be helping. But he is all over the bumper of that 88 car. He goes for an inside move now. He's still on the inside. Can he get the move made into turn 4? Oh, with a little bit of contact. Yes, he can. Hager anticipating when he was going to get cleared by Sanchez. Run into his right rear a little bit there. Both cars are able to keep on going. But right now, the top four are all output racing cars. I can see looming just behind Rachel Hunt is the 61 of Travis Massier. And we have a caution on track. Oh, Ryan Charles. Sideways on the track there. We'll have to see what happened to Ryan. As I clicked the wrong button. It looks like he's just trying to keep up in front of Chambliss there. Runs a little bit wide in turn 2. Probably had more confidence than the tyres had. Hits the wall quite heavily coming out of turn 2 and goes for a spin. Gasses it up to keep it off the inside wall. Well done. But this is going to spin him back into the line of traffic. He misses our leader. You see Thomas Harmon recognizes what's happening. Goes down to the low line to dodge. Well done by everyone there to miss him. And unfortunately, that is going to be Ryan Charles, OUT, out of the race. So we're going to have 34 laps to go in this race. These guys can make it to the end if they pit from here. The tyres will be very sketchy by the end of the race. And it looks like Brian Britt is going to get his lap back this time, being the lucky dog. And while these guys are going to do pit stops, we're going to go to an advert. When we come back, we'll see how things shake out after the stop cycle. So stay tuned. And we are back. And it looks like we might have had a change for position for the lead of this race. So let's go and catch up with these guys as they're coming out of the pits. As you can see, Thomas Harmon is in the lead. Brian Chambliss P2. You got Jaron Sanchez in third with Matt Burgess in fourth. So Chambliss and Burgess there with kind of slow stops. Harmon with a blistering quick stop. Got J.R. Hager P6, Rachel Hunt 7th. J.R. Hager in 5th. Rachel Hunt in 6th. Massier 7th. Ryan Daly in 8th. Russell Arnold in 9th. Thomas Light sitting there in 10th. So it is all on like Donkey Kong at the moment. As we should be getting the one to go this time by. Should. There it is, lights are out on the pace car. There's a last minute stop there for Adam Walker in the 20 car. He's just come in. Brian Britt in the 5. Just coming through 3 and 4 at the moment. But here's the way it stands at the moment. The top 4 are all Output Racing cars. And you got J.R. Hager and Rachel Hunt 5th and 6th. And then 7th place is another Output Racing car. So it's very, very possible that we could have an Output Racing top 5 before the end of this race. Just have to wait and see how this restart goes. So here we go now. At 2 cautions for 7 laps. Thomas Harmon in the lead for the first time today. And we're off and racing. He waited for the green flag. Already some big moves being made towards the back. But Chambliss and Burgess stuck on the outside. Sanchez trying to make his way into P2. Burgess dropping positions. And here comes J.R. Hager to the inside of everyone. I don't think he's going to get there. He might get Sanchez at the most at the minute. Oh, actually he's up to the inside of Chambliss as well. Very strong on new tyres is Hager. Not so strong on fresh tyres. Matt Burgess dropping from 4th all the way down to 9th. So that is a fall from grace if I ever seen it. Hager in P2 behind Thomas Harmon with Chambliss in 3rd and Sanchez in 4th. Rachel Hunt sitting in 5th with Daly P6, Massier in 7th. Burgess works his way back up to 8th. You see people moving all over the track, trying to use that draft advantage. At least this time Hager hasn't been squeezed off onto the grass. He is looking to the inside of Harmon here in turn 1. Both drivers going very deep into the corner. Harmon holding onto it on the outside line. Hager again to the inside of turn 2. And the momentum of that outside too strong at the moment. Let's see what he can do in turn 3. He's sitting on the quarter panel of Harmon, trying to slow him up with the side draft. And now Hager takes the lead. Harmon just slotting down in front of Chambliss there. Very close combat, close quarters combat going on here now. Chambliss looking for a move on Thomas Harmon. We're also being joined in the booth by Ryan Chow. Ryan, what's up, man?
Oh, not my position.
What?
Not my position in the race. That's certainly not up. It's horrible race. So I got out of the way. You know, it's unfortunate, but I had high hopes about this week. But had an A Open win yesterday, and thought we were gonna have a good car with this setup today, and just overdrove it all day until I finally overdrove the race, and that was that.
Yeah, it was looking like you made a mistake on the last restart, and that just put you right behind the 8 ball from the get-go. What happened there, man, to put you so far behind the rest of the pack?
Like I said, it was whole bunch of driver errors compounding themselves into an early exit. But I had a car that could still run out there. The race wasn't over, but in terms of mechanically, but just didn't have the speed everybody else had after tagging the wall. So better to get out of the way, no positions to gain.
Well, that's fair enough, man. Unfortunate luck for you. It just seems that you can't catch a break, can you, man? I mean, honestly, you haven't been having great results at all this season. Well,
it's amazing that I've held on to a top 10 spot in the standings for the last couple weeks here, but I think that's going to come to an end tonight. We'll have to regroup and get back from Martinsville. So I'm going to hang out and watch these guys fight it out. I might quietly hang out here for a minute with you and take a listen as you're doing your thing and watch a little bit of the TV angles.
All right, man. Well, you're more than welcome to sit in here and chill out with me. I won't mind at all. As we're still watching Thomas Harmon sitting there in third. J.R. Hager starting to pull away a little bit here from Brian Chambliss. But Chambliss is not a man that you can easily get away from, as evidenced earlier when he was the dominant car, pulling out to a second and a half over Hager earlier in the race. Still sitting in P4 there is the Iron Maiden of our motorsport, which is Rachel Hunt. Still looking fairly strong there in front of the 99 of Daly, who has been making a really good recovery after his earlier spins. Sanchez sitting back in P6, Massey in 7th, Matt Burgess in 8th. So we might not get that top 5 lockout from output like I was thinking we might have earlier.
Give a call out to my friend Tim, 22 car. He's running in 9th position, his late addition to the league. He's a big fan of the sport, and it's good to see him running good tonight.
Well, Swiggett has definitely been in the middle of some of the action here today with the overtakes and such. And he's definitely looking very strong at the moment. As you said, up in the P9, which is great, because I think the last time we saw him, he was battling for 13th. So he's definitely been making some leaps and strides in this race.
Yeah, I think that's about right. He was struggling a little bit last week.
We're back up to the front of the pack now. In fact, you know what? We're going to let it focus on crashes to see where we land. We're on the 12 of Matt Burgess, currently sitting in 8th. Now the camera's moved up to Sanchez in P6 and all the way back to Thomas Light in 12th. Not a position we usually see Thomas Light in. Normally we see him more towards the front battling it out, and there's a battle going on in front of him actually. Swiggett now going to be in the middle of the action again, as here comes McQuinn and Davis. They were battling it out rather hard just behind him and in front of Thomas Light, and here comes McQuinn to the inside of Swiggett. Side by side as they come along the front straight. Who's going to take the advantage into turn 1? And the answer is neither of them. Very even race with Swiggett on the outside there, but into turn 2 it's going to be all she wrote. Jason McQuinn up into 9th now. Swiggett down to 10th, but he's not going to be able to rest, because here comes the 21 of Christopher Davis trying to take away that top 10. And Thomas Light also trying to make a move. Looks like Swiggett just caught between a rock and a hard place now on that outside line, dropping positions. Which is very unfortunate, because we were just talking about him and talking about how well he was doing. It's the commentator's curse. It's all your fault, Ryan.
I know, right? I feel bad I said anything.
Well, when something happens, we're just going to blame Ryan for the rest of this race. It's always going to be Ryan's fault, just because of this.
That sounds about right. That's just like at home.
But it looks like Swiggett Still stuck on that outside line. Gonna have to deal with Chuck Mobley here on the inside now in the 78 car. Gonna drop Swiggett down to 13th. Maybe he can slot in front of Brogan as they come through turn 4. But we got a safety car on the track. And it's for the 25. He was our leader for a brief second there. Brian Chambliss. As cars split him every which way. Let's go and see what unfolded here for the 25 car. He was battling it out with Thomas Harmon for the lead. What is this? This is too early by the looks of things. That's come through turn 3. Coming through turn 4, they're still side by side. Hager is now on the inside of him. Harmon pulls up in front. That's all well and good at the moment. Oh, Hager tried to slot in behind Chambliss there and just turns him.
Yep, I just got back to it too. That's what it looked like. Tried to get back in line, and
Whoa,
then the 78 car looked like was that Mobley got into the wall, tried to get around him.
Matt Burgess very lucky not to hit Chambliss there as he was spinning. And let's have a look at the 78 as we come up to it now. Yeah, 78 a little bit unsighted there by the other cars in front of him. Makes the decision to go to the right just a little bit too late. It was unsighted. No, it wasn't Mobley that hit the wall.
No, I wasn't sure. It was the dark or the black car. I wasn't sure who it was.
Oh, that is the Brogan Pickett Norris. The 14 car. 0 on the track, 14 in the standings. Brogan Pickett Norris. Or as I like to call him, Brogan Pickett Nosen. A former commentator of mine in the early days of the Output Racing League. But anyway, let's go and see if we can grab a chat with the 25 of Brian Chambliss here. Let's get a tighter angle on his car and drag him up for a quick little chat here. Hey Brian, it's Corey and Ryan up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Not bad, man. What happened there, man? Because you were battling it out with Thomas for the lead and then shenanigans.
I don't know. I don't have a lot to say. I know there was he was a little upset with something that happened earlier. I don't want to say it was retaliation, but we're still got 20 laps to go here, and I'm junk. Wow.
Yeah, I went back and looked at it. I'm not sure yet. I got to look again. But I definitely got into you trying to get back in line. So.
Yeah, I don't know if it's kind of one of those Kyle Busch Chase Elliott things, but the result is the same. He's running up front, and I'm in the garage.
Well, that's really unfortunate, man. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, see, thanks to you and league admins for putting this thing on. It's a lot of fun. Too bad to see Ryan out of it again, but I'm glad you didn't come back up and kill me earlier. But I guess
I was
results are the same.
trying really, really hard to knock you out of the race. I mean, it was my goal when we started. I failed at 2 things tonight, so I'm pretty disappointed. But no, also it's too bad. You had a good car. You were running well, and we'd like to see both of you in the NASCAR hauler at the end of the race.
All right.
All right, well, thank you for your time, Brian, and hopefully you can get back out there and try and salvage something out of this race.
Make sure you go to the Infield Care Center, man. You got to go to the Infield Care Center.
Yeah, I got 8.5 minutes
Oh, damn, that sucks.
required.
Right. Catch you later, man.
All right.
All right, one other person we're going to bring up really quickly is going to be the 0 of Brogan Pickett Norris. Brogan, nice wall contact, man.
Cheers.
What happened? Were you just a little bit unsighted or just made the choice at the wrong time?
I didn't know where the car was at the point that had got spun out, so I just was like, bugger it. We'll see if we can get between him and the wall.
To be fair, that wall did jump out at you a little bit.
He fought the wall and the wall won.
I'm just going to send it from now on, so hopefully we get some more positions. But
all right.
we're having a good run then.
All right, thank you for your time, Brogan. Good luck on the restart.
Right.
All right, that was very quickly Brogan Pickett Norris. Back up to our leaders now as we're getting ready for the restart. Pace car is in. And we're off and racing.
Green flag.
Thomas Harmon with the lead. Jaron Sanchez restarting P2 in this one. Looks like Hager did get reprimanded for that with an EOL. But it might have to be looked at later on for maybe a deeper penalty than that if it was indeed a retaliation. And Rachel Hunt sitting up there in third as well, looking very strong up on the inside. Oh, Thomas Harmon getting loose coming out of turn 2. Not something that we see very often. It looks like Rachel choosing to go with the outside line, trying to wheel the 4 of Jaron Sanchez into the lead, and she has managed to do that. Sanchez with an outside move on Thomas Harmon to take away the lead. 16 of Rachel Hunt trying to make something more of it, unable to do so. Now she's going to be under attack from the 99 of Ryan Daly, who is also under attack from the 21 of Christopher Davis. Where did he come from? He was towards the back just a few laps ago. Side by side for the lead is Harmon and Sanchez. The league owner and operator of the Output Racing League is Jaron Sanchez. One of the faster racers and a champion of the Output Racing League is Thomas Harmon. And Sanchez still maintaining the lead at the moment. If these two were team players and they wouldn't want to be battling it out too hard, Thomas might just want to sit behind Jaron for a little bit, get them both to try and save their tyres, and they can control this race from the front. Jaron still taking that very wide arc into the corner, going for the late apex. Curb go Bert. And that's all I'm going to say about that one. Now it looks like these two are starting to build a little bit of a gap over the third place Rachel Hunt. But Christopher Davis still right there in fourth, trying to catch up to the queen of the scene at the moment, unable to do so. And we also see the 12 of Matt Burgess, currently P6, trying to get to the inside of the 99 of Ryan Daly. Into turn 3. He's got a small advantage at the moment. Oh, and there's contact. And the 99 has gone up into the wall. He's managed to get back down to the low side on the exit of turn 4. And that is going to be a big damper in his race. As we go back up to the 12 of Matt Burgess now. I'm not sure whether to call that one a racing incident or not. I'm pretty sure it was just a racing incident, but we'll wait and see later on. As now we've got a change for the lead with Thomas Harmon taking it over. Here comes Rachel Hunt as well, trying to take away second from the 4 Jaron Sanchez. Jaron running the higher line to gain the momentum, stays in front of Rachel and maintains second position. But Rachel is no pushover and she will take any advantage he gives her. Let's see what we can get with the balance of 14 laps left in this race. This is the money time right now, Ryan. Who have you got your money on to win this race?
I am looking at Rachel right now. She's making her way back to the front, and she's going to give those two boys a run for their money. I think Chris Davis is due for something too. I mean, he's consistently trying to run better, and it's finally paying off here.
Well, speaking of Christopher Davis, he is moving to the inside of Rachel Hunt right now to move himself into third. That slots Rachel back down into 4th. And Travis Massia, after being mired down in the field a little bit, trying to take away the 4th from Rachel Hunt. He is another Output Racing driver. And at the moment, Christopher Davis also looking to the inside of 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Into turn 1. What will the 21 car do? Can he make the move stick? Not just yet. Sanchez with the momentum through turn 1, maintaining position. Can he do the same in turn 2? Looks like he can actually. Sanchez very strong on the outside line there in 1 and 2. Holding on to the second position. Davis now back battling with the 16 of Rachel Hunt. Right behind them is 2 Output Racing drivers in the 12 of Matt Burgess and the 61 of Travis Massia. And just behind Massia is going to be the 34 of Russell Arnold. So it is all on in earnest here in the final few laps. We've only got 12 laps left to run in this race now. Thomas Harmon building up a huge lead. Jaron Sanchez likewise trying to gap the 16 of Rachel Hunter here just ever so slightly. So we're going to set the focus onto the 12 of Matt Burgess, sitting there in the 4th position. Looks like he's going to have his hands full of Christopher Davis here in just a second. Looks like Matt Burgess also taking a slightly wider arc into the corners, just like Jaron Sanchez. Helps you to save your tyres a little bit, also gives you a better run down the front straight. As
Chris seems to be waiting on the corner a little bit more too. He's waiting for the throttle, and it's helping him get off the corner and down the straightaways a bit quicker.
yeah, well, that's exactly right. But it also looks like just behind them, Russell Arnold battling it out with Travis Massia in the 61 car. And Russell Arnold's going to take that position away. That's Russell Arnold up into P6. Massia down to 7th. When I said it's all on, I meant it. It is all on right now. As I said, we're going to keep an eye on the 12 of Matt Burgess here, because he has ever so slightly been closing into Rachel Hunt. Let's see what he can do in these final 10 laps when they get to the start-finish line. Burgess has been putting a gap over Davis over the stretch of the lap so far. When they come to the line, gonna be 2/10 in favor of Burgess. Burgess with a 51.887. Rachel Hunt with a 52.038 that lap.
Harmon's just running away with it at the front. He's opened up almost a full second lead now over Sanchez. Rachel's a second and a half back. He's got a strong car here at the end.
Well, there is almost no stopping Thomas Harmon when he gets that clean air. And we know that as evidenced through the Output Racing League. But that's not to take away from USANZ here. These guys have definitely been putting up one hell of a fight, evidenced by Rachel Hunt sitting there in 4th. And JR Hager, who has moved his way back up to 10th after that EOL penalty that he got for the contact with Brian Chambliss. Chambliss has made his way back out onto the track as well, 10 laps down in 18th position. So definitely not the race he's been wanting after his dominant finish at Sonoma. In the background you see some of the drivers driving very hard, just about getting into the wall coming off turn 2. And Rachel Hunt has caught back up to the back of Jaron Sanchez now. Queen of the scene, Miss Rachel Hunt. And I do strongly encourage you guys, if you get a spare 5-10 minutes, go to her iRacing profile and have a read of her bio. It is truly inspirational what she does. And now she's looking at making a move on the 4 of Sanchez. Going into turn 1, Sanchez using that momentum on the high line to stay in front. But how long can he hold on to it for? As the tyres start falling off, he's not going to be able to rely on that move so much. And now Looks like we're going to go 3 wide for second place. Rachel Hunt just slotting in behind Sanchez now, but the 12 of Matt Burgess looking for the inside run on Rachel, and he gets it going into turn 3. It's an output 1, 2, 3 again. Rachel Hunt sitting there in 4th, perplexed by the situation that she's got in front of her at the moment. I'm talking a little bit too fast and my throat's starting to get dry. That's why you hear me start wheezing and coughing a little bit.
We'll try to keep the excitement down for you next week.
Oh, you don't need to do that. I like the excitement. But let's see what we can do with the last 6 3/4 of a lap that we got left in this race. The Sanchez still holding on to that second, gapping a little bit the 12 of Matt Burgess. Matt just has to try and maintain position in front of Rachel Hunt here, and he will be in for a great little points haul. But we'll just have to see how it unfolds. Russell Arnold and Travis Massey are still back there in 5th and 6th respectively. But the battle is on for P3 still between the Matt Burgess and the Rachel Hunt. Let's see what Rachel can do here on the back straight. She is right up his tail. She pulls to the inside now, trying to take advantage of the draft. He's all the way up at his door, and she gets the move made going into turn 3. But Matt Burgess does a switchback, trying to get back to the inside. Not going to work out for him this time.
That's a great battle that they've got going on, because Rachel's running first in points and Matt's running second in points.
Oh, that's exactly right. Although I don't think the results from Phoenix last week have been uploaded to Dan and Lisa. I checked and I didn't see them.
Using, I don't know that they went to Dan and Lisa, because that's not, unfortunately, my book. But I was using the iRacing standings, so it should be correct. Perhaps minus the bonus points from last week that got a little messed up trying to put them in. So we're revamping that. So that's only 10 points total, though. So.
Well, either way, it is one cracking battle that they got going on track right now. Matt Burgess falling off from the back of Rachel Hunt here ever so slightly with 4 laps to go as they come to the start-finish line this time. It's all going to be a question of who is going to win it, and by the looks of things, it is going to be Thomas Harmon fairly easily over Jaron Sanchez, but the battle for third, as I said, still on. Rachel Hunt's only 1 second behind Sanchez, so she is still within draft range. Similarly, Sanchez still within draft of Harmon, but Harmon is tough to beat with that fresh air.
Let's see who is saving their tires.
Well, see, that's another thing too. Who has been saving their tires and who has been using... Oh, in the background! Big off. That was the 98 of Thomas Light. And this is not a great camera angle. That is not either. That's a better camera angle. Very damaged car there of Thomas Light at the pit exit. Hit the wall coming off turn 2. Straight into the airbag. Sitting there at the end of the pit lane exit. And that is a very second-hand looking car that he is driving right now. Back up to our battle for third, though.
Jaron Sanchez just ran 3/10 faster than the leader.
Sanchez turning up the heat, trying to gain on Thomas Harmon. Not something I get to say too terribly often. And the battle is on for third, and the battle is on for 5th as well, between Russell Arnold and Travis Massey. Although it looks like they started to get a little bit of an air gap between them. Russell Arnold holding on to the top 5 at the moment. Travis Massey down in P6.
Sanchez is closing on him in the entries to the corners, and Harmon's pulling away on the exit. So it's an interesting battle over there. See who makes a mistake first.
Well, that's all this race has actually been, is who's going to make the mistake first. You can see there, the 12 of Matt Burgess taking a much narrower line through the exit of the corner. But both of these guys are actually going to be a little bit at threat from Russell Arnold behind him. He has been catching up ever so slightly as we go through turn 3 into turn 4 for the penultimate time. We come onto the front straight. When we get to the start-finish line, it'll be white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for Thomas Harmon. But we're still going to keep an eye on this battle for third, as now Matt Burgess looking to the outside of Rachel Hunt in turn 1. And can he get the move made? Not quite this time. He's not quite clear. In fact, he gets her clear into turn 2. So that's Matt Burgess up into third on the start of the last lap with an outside line pass through turns 1 and 2. Rachel Hunt
1.7 seconds on the lead, so he's got this thing locked up.
Rachel Hunt not looking to let that stand, trying to look for a way around him in turn 3, not going to do it. What about turn 4? Still nothing doing there. What can she do along the front straight as Thomas Harmon comes across the line to get the win before Jaron Sanchez in second. And it is the 12 of Matt Burgess in third over Rachel Hunt in fourth. Russell Arnold P5 with Travis Massier in 6th. Oh, Ryan, it has been an absolutely cracking race here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, this was very good. We've, as admins, are super proud of this one. Everybody raced really clean. They managed to get rid of me early, which is usually a good thing. And we had, again, a strong top 5. Russell Arnold especially is going to have a good points week this week. It's going to help him out. And Rachel and Matt, Brian, unfortunately had a little bit of a problem earlier. He's going to take a little bit of a points hit this week. So yeah, it's going to shake things up a little bit. It's getting really interesting, especially going into Martinsville.
Yes, Martinsville will be the ultimate decider of things, with it being a fairly dangerous track, if I do say it ever so gently. But
yeah, we've had some good showings at Martinsville for our team anyway, in the officials over the last year or so. So we're hoping to do well as Starcom. I know we've got some other teams here that I'm sure have good cars.
Thomas Harmon.
We're going to see how everybody can do on this fix set we come up with.
All right, time for the burnouts, as we saw Thomas Harmon already clock it into the wall once. And now it looks like he's doing a Polish burnout backwards. Roll back into another burnout. Here we go. If you guys are tier 2 subs over on the Twitch channel, don't forget to start spamming them in chat. But for now, we are going to go for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to start having some driver interviews, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, we are back, and it's time for the driver interviews. We're kicking things off with today's winner, the 68 car, the Jungle Cat Wizard himself, Thomas Harmon. Thomas started from the back, and once you hit the front, it didn't look like you were going to lose it, but there was that one part where you were passed by Jaron. How was your race, and how was getting passed by Jaron?
So that race was fine. The car got really tight really fast, and it was a matter of driving slow at the beginning of a run to have tire at the end of a run. Um, but getting passed by Jared on that final restart for like the first 3 laps, I was just stupid loose for some reason. It it wasn't reacting like it was every other time that we got tires. Um, so I struggled with a little bit. I think Jaron and Rachel might have got beside me, or somebody maybe even had me. I don't remember, but got it back, and I think if Chambliss wouldn't have gotten wrecked, it would have been one heck of a fight between me and him coming down to the finish if it stayed green.
I definitely think it would have been. I mean, at one point, you had 4 output guys in the top 5, which is incredible. Just having that. But a second week in a row that we've had a top 3 lockout for the Output Racing League. What's that like? Being, I guess, the de facto leader of that by virtue of being in the lead.
Uh, I'd say Jaren's more leader, but it's just nice knowing that we got a good group of guys that can show up every week, work our way to the from back to front, stay in the front, whatever we need to do, and work together and manage to be there at the end.
Now, I'm gonna be controversial here and ask for your opinion on what happened to Brian Chambliss. Obviously, J.R. Hager a little bit upset at him over a little bit of a drafting maneuver on the back straight, is what I'm going to call it. So what's your opinion on that situation?
Well, 2 options: revenge or just a dumb drafting move that was completely unnecessary. You don't need to run a car that tight, especially with 30 laps to go. He did it to me too. I thought for sure I was going to go around, but especially with the way these cars are wiggling. But fortunately, I didn't. But he, instead of just falling back to third and getting another run at it, I guess he decided to end both their races.
All right, man. Now, looking forward to next week. We're going to a place that's historically been terrible for output guys in Martinsville. So what's the feeling like for you?
Somebody else is going to get a win finally.
Well,
I'm not looking.
Go ahead.
I'm not looking forward to it. It's not in any way, shape, or form. I'll be happy if I get a top 5.
All right, man. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Shout out to you up in the booth, broadcasting it to all the fans that watch. All the guys that show up week in and week out. Admins of the league did a good job of getting a lot of the riffraff out to start, and it's definitely improved in the past couple of weeks. And then shout out to everybody that showed up and watched.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Thomas. Congratulations on another win, and hopefully you don't die next week at Martinsville.
I hope so.
All right, coming up next, today's second place getter, we're going to be talking to the 4-car of Jaron Sanchez, the league owner and operator of the Output Racing League. Jaron, great result by you. We don't normally talk to you in a top 3 capacity in any regard, but here you are in P2, and at one point you even took the lead away from Thomas Harmon. How do you feel?
I feel pretty lucky to get this P2 position, to be honest. Not one of my best tracks. I really hate this track and running this track every single corner. I really am not having a lot of fun, but I had a lot of fun tonight passing guys, and for me, I've had good luck out there with some respectful racing. But taking the lead for a little while. That was a lot of fun. Shouldn't have been there. And there was definitely some guys that were faster than me that should have took that second place. But I was gonna be happy with anything over better than the top 5. That's for sure. But second, that's awesome.
Now, at the start of that last run, you were embroiled in what I'm going to say is, quite the epic battle. Once you fell off away from Thomas a little bit with Matt and Rachel. What was that little battle dynamic like for you guys, especially with you holding on to the outside line to maintain position?
Oh, I was sweating it the whole time, but the outside line felt out pretty good. I felt pretty good battling there. I was in turns 2 on the outside for some reason, turns 1 and 2 early in the run. I can fight them off there, so that was pretty nice. And then luckily Thomas on that restart got loose on the bottom, and this restart before that I was getting real loose hanging on the bottom, so the top I definitely felt better on the restart for some reason. But also got lucky that Thomas down low on the inside line was getting loose, so that helped. But yeah, it was fun. I was just hoping that once I got Rachel behind me, that Matt can just battle them two together and keep them both behind me the whole time, and luckily that's what happened.
All right, man. Now I'm going to ask you the same question about looking forward to next week. We're going to Martinsville, and the last time we went there with Output, it was unbroadcasted, and you're very thankful for that fact. So what's the feeling like for you going into the shortest track on the calendar?
Last time I went to Martinsville, there was a couple leagues that I ran it in, and I got better. It was one of those tracks that I really am not good at, but I forced myself to run it, even though I wanted to sit it out, and I feel like I got better at it. But I'm not saying I'm gonna be good. I'm still, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm just gonna try to keep the car clean, stay out of trouble, stay out of drama. It's one of them tracks that can bring out short track tempers, and I don't like being caught in the middle of anything. So I'm just gonna try to stay out of any problems and keep the car clean till the end and see what happens. Maybe get a top 10.
All right, man. Well, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go here tonight?
Oh yeah, thank the guys running this league. I think it's a good league. I think they got a good group of guys here, and I'm gonna have some fun in this league for sure. Of course, thanks you, Corey, for putting on an amazing broadcast every week. The best, and I'd like to thank my wife and kid for supporting my racing hobby.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
All right, thanks, Corey.
All right, coming up now is going to be our third place getter, who only got third by making, similarly, an amazing pass around the outside of the queen of the scene, Miss Rachel Hunt. We're, of course, talking to the 12 of Matt Burgess. Matt, great race by you, man, especially towards the end there with that battle that you were having with Rachel. What was it like for you? We'll just say the entire race, because you were in a battle pretty much the entirety of this race.
Yeah, it was a little stressful, but it's fun. I had a drink, and I never, I was drinking a little bit in practice, and then I never touched it after that. So I was pretty, and even on the, the yellow flags, I mean, you're just kind of planning strategy and, seeing who's around you and planning for the restart. So it was a lot of fun. I got tangled up with Ryan Daly there in turn 4, and it dropped me back on that last green flag run. So I ended up burning my stuff up trying to get up there. I thought I was going to get Jaron, but then my tires were so hot by that point. Rachel got back by me, so I kind of tucked in behind and worked on a few laps to try to cool them off, and managed to get a run on. And racing with Rachel's been a lot of fun. She gives room, and she probably gave me a little bit too much room there, on that outside pass, but I appreciate it, and managed to hang on for a third. I thought I was going to get Jaron. Wish I could have got Jaron, but it is what it is. I'll take a third.
Now, you and Rachel actually also embroiled in the middle of a pretty epic points battle at the moment, of which obviously you come out triumphant today. So what's going to be the thought process moving forward? Is it just maintain position in front of Rachel, or is it just going to be, go all out every week and try and take her home a win?
For me, I would say it's just race by race. I'm not. I mean, the points are nice, but that's not the. It kind of factors in a little bit, but I like being up there and getting towards front and racing. So I'd rather do that, because it makes for a fun night. Um, the points thing, it's kind of secondary. We'll see if it gets towards the end of the season there. If I'm still up there, um, what I see at that point. But right now it's just race by race and try to get a good result.
All right, man. Now, looking forward to next week. As previously mentioned, we're going to the paperclip itself, Martinsville Raceway. What's the feeling like for you going there?
Um, Not good. I don't like it. So I always get stuck in a bunch of stuff. It seems like in output racing, but that's kind of been my year there. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, other than that, the one race here, the last two races here in this league they've been awesome. I mean, we've had a couple of yellows, but it's just racing incidences. So been a lot of fun. Definitely glad I'm here. Um, you know, in Orel when I first started there, there was a few fast people and a lot slower people, but there's a lot of guys that over Orel that are fast now. So I expect the same to happen here as these guys work together, and practice and the competition will just get tighter and tighter.
All right, man. Well, before we let you go tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
To the admins of the league, the race control do a great job. You for broadcast, to the outfit teammates that are here and racing. Obviously, to the other racers, it's been a pleasure to race around them. And then obviously to people that are watching the broadcast and enjoying the race.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, man. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Alrighty.
All right. Coming up next, having a little look, going to be talking to our 7th place getter tonight. And that is going to be the 23 of Jason McQuinn. Jason, great result for you. Top 10 at Indy. Not a bad way to finish off the week at all. What was the race like for you? Because we did check in on you a couple times throughout the race and looked like you were in a couple of big battles.
Yeah, I mean, I love the race. There was a lot of good racing. It can be a little frustrating sometimes, um, trying to pass people, but man, it was a lot of fun. I stayed real patient until that last third. When I thought it might go green for the rest of the way, and just kind of hung out in the back, and I just tried to be patient till the end so I could be there.
All right, man. Now, as I said, you caught up in a couple of big battles, one of which was actually with another person that's in here, the 21 of Christopher Davis. So what was it like for you battling through the pack a little bit to go from, being, around the 12, 13, 14 position to making your way up to 7th?
Yeah, that final pit stop, I made a mistake. I wound up falling from 8th to I think 13th is what I restarted, and I got lucky, honestly. Going into turn 1, some guys had to check up, and I was able to stay in it all the way and kind of just pick my way through up to about 8th. And the 21, he was on me like all night. It felt like I felt like we were near each other all night. He was real quick and had some good battles with him for sure.
All right, man. Now, looking forward to next week. We're going to Martinsville. So what's the feeling like for you going to the smallest track on the schedule?
you know, I think it's kind of similar to everybody else's feelings. Nervous about it. I think it's going to be huge. Just trying to keep your car clean so that you can be there towards the end to actually do something. If I get away with another top 10 there, I'll be happy.
All right, man. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, 21. We had some good battles throughout the whole race. The 98 as well, really good battles, and the 22 as well. Battled him for a little bit. He's a really good hard racer. Um, and Ryan for testing so much with me this week at Indy, so I could know how to run it. It was my first time here, so yeah. Just appreciate all the good, clean racing and the broadcast that you put on and the admin setting everything up. I have a
All
lot
right.
of fun doing it.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming out, man. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
All right, coming up now, guys, the other side of the battle coin there. We're going to be talking to the 21 of Christopher Davis. Christopher, it's a great run by you to begin with there, but falling back to your starting position of 11th. What was the race like for you?
Overall, the beginning was pretty average. Excuse me. Uh, yeah, running pretty average to be honest. Just trying to wind down the laps, just kind of ride. And that unfortunate caution with the 25 kind of got my hopes up a little bit. I was around 9th, and then came out about 8th. And on the restart, everybody just checked up on the inside, so I just decided to yeet it around the outside, gained like 4 or 5 spots, and then really started the battle for second, which I was surprised. I honestly did not belong up there. Um, Overall, I just made a slight mistake in choosing my line. I think it was into 1 and 2, and it just got me stuck on the outside, and I just dropped. And then I also made a mistake, which kind of made it worse. But that battle was really fun. Honestly, it really got me focused in the zone.
Well, I just want to let you know now, it's not your fault. All right, we've come to a decision that any mistake after Ryan came and joined me in the commentary booth is his mistake. So you are completely absolved of all of your incidents. It's all Ryan's fault.
Yeah, that was what we came up with. It's probably true anyway. So you're good, man.
All right, now I'm looking forward to next week, man. We're going to Martinsville. What is the feeling like for you going there?
Oh, I've had some pretty good experiences with Martinsville. Some bad ones, obviously, but it's just nature of the track. Really looking forward to it. Really hoping I can be pretty quick. That's where Gareth found me. Was in the NIS Open. We finished 1-2 as the only cars in the lead lap, and I'm pretty confident around there. I can wheel it around, kind of manage the tires also. So, really looking forward to next week.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
All right, coming up next, we got the driver that was embroiled in a little bit of controversy. He finished in 8th in this race, but we'll have to have a little talk to the man himself. We're talking, of course, to Zachary Taylor, aka Mr. J.R. Hager. Zach, obviously you were a little bit upset at Brian over what happened on the back straight, with the little bit of the block of the draft there. So what happened when you were coming on the front straight? Were you just trying to slot into line and just misanticipated how quickly he was going to get past you?
Yeah, no, I was, obviously I was upset about the backstretch thing, but that was my fault. He left me the whole top and I could have took it, but, me being myself, wanted to go to the bottom of him. But they're going on to the front stretch, I was on his inside and I got to his quarter panel and I said, the only way I'm going to pull him, I wanted to get up to him and side draft him and pull him back. I wanted to dump a lot of air on that spoiler and just pull him back to me. And I was hoping I was going to clear him down into 1, which would have set me up to pass 68 again. But obviously came up a little bit and just I don't know. I guess the air turned him around, or whatever. I didn't see any contact, but something just grabbed him and turned him over my front end, and then that was it. But that was totally unintentional. Did not mean to do it at all. I feel so bad for it because he dominated the whole race. Me and him had been racing clean all race, so that was just a human error on my part.
All right, man. Well, I'm glad that we got that cleaned up a little bit. But let's look forward to next week now. we're going to Martinsville, where short track tempers would probably become an issue throughout the race. So, what's the feeling like for you heading into Martinsville?
Yeah, Martinsville's one of my strongest tracks. I always love going there. It's just a tight little track and reminds you of anything you'd see on a regular Friday night in your hometown here. But I'm just expecting for it to be a great race. I'm actually going to have to sit it out. I'm not going to be in town next Friday, but I'll be back for Bristol, and Bristol's one of my best tracks. It's actually my home track, so I'm looking forward to that. I already started practicing for it.
All right, man. Well, we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks then. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out to my teammates. Chuck Mobley, who finished right there behind me there in ninth, and then good old Thomas Light, who was running in seventh, but had a little bit of a mistake there on the, I think it was on the backstretch. And just everything they do. Give shout out there to Aaron for great race controlling today and doing us a great set for us to run out here and have a great race with all these boys.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, man. We look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right. And even though he's been in here and we've had a little bit of a chat to him already, we're going to do it to him again because it's all his fault. We're going to be talking, of course, to the 48 car of Ryan Charles. Ryan, great race by everyone here today, besides yourself.
For me.
Taking yourself out.
Exactly.
So what's the feeling like so far? We're 4 rounds into this league, 5 if you include the practice race. How do you think the league's running so far? What do you think you could do with improving over the next few weeks?
As of now, I mean, I'm super pumped about the start to this league. I was involved in a couple leagues prior to deciding with Gareth to get one going, and honestly, we weren't sure what to expect. I honestly wasn't as hopeful that we were going to have this type of turnout, and not only this type of turnout where our strength of field is between 15 and 2 every week. Granted, that's nothing like some of the leagues out there, but the talent that we have in this league is second to none, in my opinion. There's anybody in the field from week to week, depending on the track, that can win the race or run in the top 3 to top 5. So we have a real interesting points battle going on. There's been some moves this week after some unfortunate incidents for some of us. I know that Brian last week was in third, I think, and he's dropped a spot. Rachel and Matt hung on to where they were, but it's really close to the top. I mean, there's only 30 points between first and fourth, and Rachel and Brian both have a win, I believe, if I remember correctly, this season. And Rachel's being super dominant, so she's number 1 still, and everybody's chasing her.
Well, that's right, man. And going forward to next week, we're going to Martinsville. We've heard what all the drivers have had to say, and as we see you getting sideways on the track coming out of turn 4, so what's the feeling like for you going into Martinsville and the potential for you having a very, very late night looking at incidents?
Well, the nice part about our league is there is actually a time limit. So if we have too many incidents, we're going to be coming down to that 4-hour limit. 2 hours of it is the actual race. So hopefully we won't have that. We haven't really come close to it yet. We've been about a half hour to spare every session. So I think even with a few incidents, we should be okay. So I guess I could talk some crap. I mean, output seems to be leading the way here for the last little while, but I hate to tell them that Martinsville is one of Starcom's best tracks. So be looking for us to put on a show next week and show them what running top 3 is supposed to look like.
Them are some fighting words there as a Output Racing League elitist myself, and I take great offense to that. But we'll have to wait and see how it unfolds next week. I mean, we do have 2 weeks in a row of Output Racing League dominating yours, but we won't
yes.
dwell on that
We-
too much.
we don't have to dwell on it because we're gonna put up for a league vote whether they can stay now. That's the whole thing.
All right, Ryan. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
No, it's the same as what we've kind of heard. I mean, thank you to you for doing what you do each week. Thanks for letting me barge in on your broadcast booth today. That was kind of fun. Gareth and all the other guys who make the week possible for us and help us build the sets that we're going to be starting to use because we've gotten some good feedback on putting in at least a set that's not the fixed set for my racing because I think this week showed a lot. Aaron was a big proponent of the set we ran. I think it did exactly what his plan was with it, which was to kind of exacerbate the tire wear in a sense, not to make it bad, but to make it where racing was going to matter. And I think we got that. At the end, the best car and the best driver, really, in this case, because the cars are the same. So the best driver came out on top, and this car was all about being able to manage the car, and he did the best job of that. So I think everybody's enjoying it. We've had nothing but good feedback, as you've heard from people since week 2 there, where we kind of had a one-off in terms of people that showed up. We're hoping to have a couple more of our celebrity guest drivers show up over the next few weeks for us. Quinn's been very nice about taking the time out of his schedule with the NASCAR Cup Series and coming out to run with us. And then finally to everybody on the league roster here who comes to practice and who tests the set with us. And this league's for you guys, and we want you to have the set that you want to run. So your feedback on that's been helpful, and this way we don't bring something that you guys don't like. So keep coming out, keep hanging out with us, and I think this league's going to go somewhere over the next couple of years. Looking like there's a good group here that I think will stick around for a good little while.
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming out again. Thank you for helping to put on the league, and thank you for coming into the commentary booth. You call it barging in, but I like having someone else in the booth to throw a little bit of energy off every now and then. And it's always good to get someone else to have a laugh with me in the booth, so I'm not just laughing at myself and making it awkward. And also
no
blaming
offense,
you
but
for
I
everyone
hope-
else's mistakes with the commentator's curse.
Right. No offense though, but I hope I'm never there again.
Oh, I hope you're never there again either, but it might happen. It very
Yes,
well might
trust me,
happen.
I will. There's a very good chance it's going to happen, actually. So knowing that, I'll try to stick around and learn something from you by coming in there and saying hello if the day doesn't go the way we'd like it to.
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming out anyway, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Thanks, bud.
All right, guys. So that is going to wrap up our broadcast here. We'd like to thank everyone for coming out and hanging out. As we've been alluding to, it's Martinsville next week, the paperclip as it is affectionately known. So it should be a very interesting little race. Time limit will be in effect, so hopefully we don't get near to tickling that, but just in case we might, just be prepared for a long one. Make sure you got your snacks and your drinks ready. And until next week at Martinsville, I'm going to be signing off here, so ciao for now.